Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura, and I'm the Curry Stitcher, and I want to welcome you to my channel about cross stitch. Let's get right into it. I live in Northeast Georgia, as you might remember, and it is hot, hot, hot. So I'm back in my normal stitching chair and using artificial light. So I'm hoping you can see everything that I have to show you. For June, my whip go goals, I let my whip go board determine what I'm going to stitch. This is new to me. I'm enjoying it because it does motivate me to finish some things, to fully finish some things that I've already stitched. So in June, number 16 and number 9 were called, and for me that meant stitching goals of His Eye is on the Sparrow, 5 hours, Gigi Giraffe to finish Gigi Giraffe, Brooks Nolan Advent Animals, and to finish Kenny Kangaroo, and to work 5 hours on Prairie Schooler Barnyard Christmas Ornament. And so I want to show you my stitching first, and then we'll talk about finishes. Okay, I'm going to pause so you don't hear the crinkling. Okay, so His Eye is on the Sparrow is by Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery, and I have a digital copy, so I'm going to try and put a picture right here of it. And my card says I stitched it on 40 count doubloon by Picture This Plus using the called for Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Art threads. And this is where I got to. Can't see what you're seeing, but this is so much fun to stitch. I just love it. And I love this fabric, doubloon. It's beautiful. I'm not sure if it called for doubloon. I think it did, but I think it was 28 count. And she used one thread to give it an antique-y look. But yes, it's huge. It is 435 stitches wide by 383, so I will be stitching this forever, but it is beautiful. I'm loving it. I was so excited to start on the peacock. Let's see if you can see that. So beautiful. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of progress on that. It may have been more than 5 hours, I don't know, but at least 5 hours. So I was able to call that a complete on stitching goals. On Gigi Giraffe, I was supposed to finish it, and I did. This is it, right here on my board. Gigi Giraffe, I just love how it goes out of the frame, you know, long neck, comes standing to the side, and she comes back in, and she's putting a star on the tree. Anyway, so cute. Love these things. So I was able to finish that one as a stitching goal and fully finish it as a finishing goal for June. No, yes, for June. So that one's done. And Prairie Schooler Barnyard Christmas, I'm gonna try and not make some noise. Okay, so another June stitching goal was to stitch 5 hours on a Barnyard Christmas ornament, and I have stitched this one on the current fabric that I'm using. I've also stitched the horse and I think the cow, but I stitched them on really tiny, like 25 count, 28 count Monaco, and I stitched a 1/1. But I wasn't happy with them. They were cute and little, but and I will finish them, fully finish them but not this year. I wanted bigger fabric. So I stitched this on 36 count vintage country mocha linen 2/2 using DMC threads, and this is where I am stitching the rooster. I stitched a little in the tail feathers and a little on the breast, and then that leg. And I think I may have even stitched the flower, but anyway, it may have been a little over 5 hours, but I was working on, I was working on that one, and I've already stitched that one. I'll show you that one on this fabric. And I like the size of this. It's not huge, but it's not tiny either. I like the size of it, so I'm real happy with this fabric. 36 count vintage country mocha linen. So, okay, that was another stitching goal. And another stitching goal was Kenny Kangaroo, to finish him. And I have met the stitching goal, not the finishing goal, but the stitching goal for June. Kenny Kangaroo. And I'm stitching this in honor of down under people, because their Christmas is very sunny and bright. So they're not snowflakes, they are called sun sparkles, and I'm not sure they show up that great on my fabric, but in person it's really cute, and I thought I could use this as an opportunity to tell my children that people below the equator, their seasons are reversed, and you know, I think they will find that fascinating. So beautiful, loved it. You know, it wasn't my favorite when I first started, but I think he's one of my favorites. I love Kenny Kangaroo, especially now because I'm stitching him in summer. It just feels right, you know, perfect stitch. So, okay, so those were my 4 stitching goals. His Eye is on the Sparrow, 5 hours, and Prairie Schooler Barnyard Christmas, 5 hours, and then to finish Gigi Giraffe and Kenny Kangaroo, to finish them. I did some extra stitching on June 5th. I had a new start. I stitched What Remains by Blackbird Designs using the Call for Weeks and 1 Classic Colorworks. I substituted the Gentle Arts I'm using for with DMC, and 1 Gentle Arts with Weeks Dye Works, and one of the Classic Colorworks I substituted. I used a Weeks Dye Work. I'm stitching it on a 36 count cream linen that I overdye with Camel Rit Dye to make the fabric darker, similar to the model. So let me just show you that pattern. Okay, so I didn't have it up here, so I had to run downstairs and get it, but this is it, What Remains by Blackbird Designs, and I'm going to have to learn how to look in that little dot. But I love this. I think it's gorgeous. I ordered the linen, but it was on back order for like 3 months, and it called for Weeks Dye Works straw, 35 count. And you know, like we're all learning to do, is make substitutions if we are real anxious to start something. I debated about waiting, but I wanted to try this anyway. I used Camel Rit Dye to get the dark vintagey feel of that fabric. It's a little more pinky than the straw. I think it's more yellow, but it's gonna look really good on that. So I'm real happy with it. Happy with the way it looks. It's overdyed cream, and it's 40 count. I think I said 40 count. Anyway, it's beautiful. And I got the linen and the threads from my local needlework shop, the Tudor Rose in Clarksville, Georgia. She tries to get you anything. If there's a delay, she'll let you know. And she works with you. Like if you want to start it and you're game to try, you know, overdyeing your linen, she'll, you know, she'll order what she can get in the count that you want. So let me look at my notes again. So I was very excited. A little small start, but still a start. And so my finishing goals were the Gigi Giraffe that I showed you, this one. And I got to do Kenny Kangaroo this month. And I've got to do August monthly. And I want to show you, you know, like I think I'm going to do this in a flat fold instead of a finish. But I want to show you what I have. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at you again. I want to show you what I have done as far as finishing goals, like catching up on finishing goals. This was an extra finishing goal 1 month, and I thought the pillow needed a little something, so I did the ruched ribbon. And I believe in my last video the button had come off, so I don't sew those on, I glue them on. I put the thread in there, but then I glue them. So, you know, I'm lazy. I don't know how you would come up through there again. Anyway, I just glue them on there. But I put the ruched ribbon around it. And I thought it added a lot to it. I chose pink. So that was Hello Spring, which I finished. I believe I showed that to you in my last video. And then I want to show you my Winter Woods flat fold. I tried a flat fold because I saw some Flosstube and I cannot remember the name, so I'm not going to shout them out this week because I have subscribed to their channel. Next time, I think they're at StitchCon. But anyway, next time I see a video, I'm going to get some more information. But they are fairly new to cross stitch, but not new to crafting. They're amazing knitters and sewists. I mean, they're talented. So, but they tackled, they watched, I think, Vanna's tutorial about doing a flat fold, and their flat folds were just gorgeous. So I watched Vanna's tutorial, and I'll link her channel down below, and she's got some videos, and she's also got a blog that she posts tutorials on. But I watched her flat fold. It's called a simple flat fold, where it's not mounted, it is the front piece. Anyway, so, and I watched her cording video. My cording needs some improvement. It's not tight enough, and I didn't get it on that great, but that's okay. I'm learning, and I was so proud of this. I couldn't stand it. I was just so like, oh, it looks good. And I even did it straight up and down, and I will not do that again. I will use, I will cut it on the bias if I use homespun, you know, but I just did it. And I'm doing a little trick that I'm hesitant to share with people, but if I see that it really does work, I'll tell y'all about it. Maybe I should tell you anyway, but I use acid-free poster board and spray tack them and use a paper cutter because I'm not comfortable with an X-Acto knife. I'm not real comfortable with a rotary ruler, a rotary cutter. So I use a paper cutter and spray the glue that's tacky, you know, the spray adhesive, excuse me, and use that several thicknesses to create the mat board. And I feel like it's working for me. I don't know about anybody else if it would work or not, but it's making me feel like I can tackle mounting things. And I'm way more comfortable lacing than gluing. I'm not comfortable with gluing trim, but I need one of those micro tip bottles. So next time I'm in a craft store, you know, miles and miles away, I will try and get a really small micro tip so I can apply a thin bead, because I think I kind of smushed my cording. My cording, I like the cording because it's perfect. It's DMC 221, and that's what you stitch with, and it's just, you know, perfect. So very proud of that. Okay, and that was a March finishing goal, believe it or not. And then I did a June pillow. Before I started wanting to do flat folds, I did my calendar pillow. Went to Hobby Lobby. I had this fabric and this fabric, but I bought some little rope and some blue to tie in the blue on the, you know, there, the bucket, beachy, and the nautical rope. And my husband knew how to tie a square knot, so, and I fired the ends like Vanna does with things. I fired the ends and just put a little knot in the back, and it's cute. I mean, I glued these. I'm not thrilled with that, but anyway, I glued these knots. I just tied these knots. I didn't place them perfectly. I would have had it a little more, you know, in toward the front of the pillow, but I think it's so cute. And that goes in my tier tray or dough bowl or something. You know, I don't have enough yet, but I'm working on it. And then I want to show you my May finishing goal was the monthly, and because I had been successful with that, I did this one first. I wanted to try mounted flat fold, and I used the gingham fabric, and I cut it on the bias, and I used red rickrack around the that's my, it was a May finishing goal, and it's July. So I'm ready for July. Okay, so all my 2022 whip goals, stitching goals are complete through June. My finishing goals there's only one, but I am behind on my finishing goals. And this one is from April, and it's the 2019 Peace on Earth Santa. I had already had this stitched, and you know, like I like the color of this fabric better than this, but you know, I mean, that happens, right? You know, they don't all look the same. They were stitched in different years. So I will finish this like this one with cording, you know, also, and homespun, but I will turn it bias because this is really hard to work with, for that to look neat. And even though it's the back and you don't really see it that much, I don't like it to look crooked, so I'm gonna intentionally make it crooked beforehand. So you know, that's from April, and that's all I have for y'all today. We are headed out to do some antique shopping, like it's like when I say antiques, yeah, what we're looking for is something that truly is an antique, but maybe we can find it in the thrift store. We're gonna see, and there's also some antique shops up near the Tudor Rose where I'm going to pick up some linen because I forgot to show you my haul. But I'm kitting up one of these, so hang on one second. Okay, didn't want you to hear all the crinkling. There will be a little bit of crinkling, but this one, I just bought the pattern. I'm going to show you the one that I bought that I'm not kitting up yet, but I will, because she had this one stitched. It's a model in her shop, and it's beautiful. And she made some substitutions, and I loved them all. They did not take away from the design at all, because Brenda Gervais is a genius. And but she made some substitutions based on what she could get, and you know, it was gorgeous. So I got this one by Brenda Gervais. Caroline Amelia Trowell. Anyway, it says, beauty's blossom that soon fades away, but virtue's flower that will never decay, is the verse on it. So pretty. So I can't wait to start that. I had a hard time. I picked out 2 patterns, and I only kitted up one, and that is how I spent my birthday money, y'all. you know, best birthday present ever. I just love it. So I spent all but like $7 of my gift certificate. So I got Rejoice Evermore by Brenda Gervais. And when we pulled the floss for the birds, it didn't look, it looked more greenish and less blue. So we substituted I'm not sure which ones, but I will provide that in the show notes. But these are the colors for the birds that we, deep sea and glacial melt is what we're, when I say we, the shop owner helps me so much. She was stitching this, and it is beautiful. And I loved her colors, and I said, well, I want what you used. So she said, I use these 2 for the birds, and I love them. These are the threads that we have put together. And like I say, I don't know off the top of my head the substitutions. Sandcastle. Pretty color. Okay, I think this is Schneckly. I couldn't say it last time, but I asked her, how do you say that? And she said Schneckly. Anyway, I think she said that. Anyway. Everything that she says sounds so elegant because she's English and she has a beautiful accent. And, you know, and a good sense of color. Anyway, that's part of them. And then there's some greens and beautiful colors. Gray greens. This is a yellow green. What's it called? Olive. Beautiful. Yes. Oilcloth. I'm using that in something else too. I think what remains might have some oilcloth. And cranberry ice is another color. They're beautiful. But anyway, I don't stitch much with overdyes, but the weeks are color fast, and you know, I saw this. It makes the world of difference to just see stitching in person, and I am so happy to see. I mean, she wasn't finished with it, but she was working on it, and it was gorgeous. And I think the call for fabric we're having to substitute, and we substitute some flosses, but I will put those in the show notes if anybody wants to know. Otherwise, anyway, I'm going to pick up the fabric, and then we're going to antique shopping, and then I'm going to go see my brother at my mom's house, and, you know, just a busy day. So I will let y'all get back to stitching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Have a happy stitching day, or week, or a couple of weeks. Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.